Hello and welcome, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. So good to see you, and welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. I'm just trying out a new tea today, so I'm kind of excited. Yes, that's a good one. Golden Bud. It's really nice. Look at the color. It's great. Anyway, we're not here to talk about tea, but I just like it. Have you ever been at a spa, or you've taken some time to go and relax, and you're in the surrounding, you're getting the session done, and your ear just gets pulled away because you're listening, the music that they've put on is just awful, right? It's under this umbrella of new agey relaxation music, and you're listening to the music that sort of takes you out of the moment. Your mind wanders off to think about the music, and there's this bad synth sound, and that you're like, that's not a flute, that's actually somebody on a keyboard with a little bendy wheel going wee-oo, wee-oo, and you're just like, oh, a flock of loons, I don't know what it is, but this loon sort of like in the middle of your session gives out this big booming sound, and you're sort of like taken out of the moment of this deep relaxation. I don't know if I'm the only one out there, but these kind of things really bother me when I'm in a session. Maybe it's because I have, I'm a musician, my ears tuned to these kind of things, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. I just noticed that in this field of, massage, reflexology, sort of, spa wellness, that there is just a category of music that I think was put out there to sell to this industry, and it's just awful. So in today's video, I want to share with you some music that I really think is great and very suitable for pretty much any situation, especially in reflexology, massage, or spa. So what is it that I look for in music when I'm, searching around to find music for my session? First of all, the stuff that I really don't like are inconsistent music. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of music out there that involves like gongs or big crystal bowls or chimes and things like that. And when done properly, yes, it can be really great. It sort of creates this nice drone, this nice ambient in the room feeling, right? And that's what I'm looking for, is to enhance the room feeling and sound with kind of like just a nice ambience that adds to it, rather than sort of forcing some kind of music just because it's supposed to be relaxing or healing the chakras as you're going, right? Because there's a lot of that kind of music. But I find it very kind of jarring, right? You're sitting there and you're trying to relax, and you hear this big dong, and then you hear this like ching sort of sound, right? Another one that I find kind of annoying is nature sounds, right? And again, all this music, when done properly, it's great. Like, nice flowing water sound, a babbling brook or something like that. Way back in the mix of the recording, yes, it can sound really great. But when you get, you're sitting there and you have these, geese flying by and loons hooting, and it's sort of just it's jarring, right? You're going along, and then there's this peak in the music, and you're going along, and there's peak in the music, and there's this other stuff going on that really bugs me. So I'm looking for something that's a bit more even tempered, sort of, right? Something a little bit, something that has a good melodic structure to it. And speaking of melody too, it's really important for me to have real instruments playing the main melody. So if we're talking about flutes, I mentioned before, just, that awful sound of somebody on a joystick trying to make a flute sound real. It's like, well, just hire a flute player and, get it done right. So that kind of bugs me when I'm listening to music, is, not having real instruments. If you don't have real instruments, then at least there's some really great samples, and the way it's played is really important as well. So that's what I'm sort of looking for. Another thing that I'm looking for is tempo too. Like, how is the music going along? Is it like kind of upbeat, right? And so this can really change how your session is going, right? So I really like kind of something that's about 60 beats per minute. And what that means is, if you're not familiar with music, basically 120 beats is sort of around where your heart sits, right? So if you're familiar with the Bee Gees, you know the song Staying Alive, that's pretty much like 120, right? So half of that, right? So that's sort of the beat there. So it's kind of a neat one because it's half of a heartbeat tempo, but it still sort of has that pulse to it, right? So I want something that's nice and pulsing. I don't really like too much like full-on drum beats, which is hilarious because I am a drummer, but just something that's really more ambient and sort of space, that has space, not necessarily spacey, but it has space, right? So things like bigger sounding drums, rattles, shakers with a lot of room or big sound-ish stuff I kind of look for too. And then something that has a nice melody, right? So those are the kind of things that I really look for in music, something that's really nice and warm and things like that. So the music that I wanted to share with you today, and it's funny because I have 3 recommendations and they're all from the same artist. So the artist's name is Anugama. It's a guy that lives in Hawaii and he's a multi-instrumentalist, so he plays tons of things. So again, he's playing real instruments, which is really great. And he's been doing this for his whole life. And these 3 albums that I like, which is Shamanic Dream 2, and Healing. Those 3 I highly recommend, and every time I play them in my session room, I get people asking me, oh, who's this that you're playing? It's really great music, and where can I get it, right? And so I picked mine up on Amazon. Before that, I actually picked it up at a place in Vancouver called Banyan Books. And it's a really great place. You can go find music, you know, at sort of like new agey stores, you know, kind of bookstores and things like that. And sometimes they'll even have listening stations where you can check out the music. I highly recommend Anugama because, especially those 3 albums, his other albums are really great, but I think for sessions, they don't really fit the bill. He's got some that are a little bit more classical. He's got some that are way more like new agey, you know, crystal sounding stuff, and it's a bit too much for my taste anyway. Having good music in your session at a good volume, that's also something else to be aware of, is just, you know, does the volume sit? So I make sure that I position myself so that I can, you know, adjust the volume as needed. Because music is also a great tool in your session as well to bring people down, to enhance your reflexology practice, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share my thoughts on music because I have had a couple really, like, I'll just say annoying experiences, and the sessions that I had were great, but it's just, they could have been so much better if they just had some better music, right? Because it really took me out, and maybe that's just because I'm a musician, but I don't think so. I think a lot of people can really sense and feel the ambience of the music. Maybe they don't know all the notes and all that sort of thing, but they, you know, music has a great feeling. Music is really personal as well. So, you know, don't take my word for it. Maybe this is something that you won't like. But I have just found through my clients that they really enjoy it and they want to know what kind of music it is that I was playing, right? So, there you have it. Anugama, highly recommended. Go check it out for yourself. And until our ears meet again, until our paths meet again, Adam Thomas from Balancing Touch Reflexology. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Let me know what you thought of this video by leaving a comment below. Any type of feedback can be useful. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you found it useful, feel free to share it with anybody who might be interested. Make sure that you have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. And make sure that you hit, or better yet, step on that bell icon so you know when the next video is coming out. And if you have some more time, why don't you check out some other videos? Till next time, this is Adam Thomas from balancingtouch.ca.